I'm ready. Let's go. Let's do this. I'm hungry.
All right, you better talk fast, girl. All right, so what's happening tonight, ladies?
All right, so tonight's topic, being the sandwich kid. What does that mean?
Rachel, what's a sandwich kid?
Well, you're kind of the meat between two pieces of bread. So who is our pieces of bread right now? Our grown kids. So many. And our aging parents. So where does that put us? Smack dead in the middle. Is it
Pass.
I don't know. Sometimes it is a rock and a hard spot, and you got to find out, like, how am I going to do this? But guess what? Tables turn. It now becomes your turn. I unfortunately had to do that at a much younger age. My mother passed when I was only 25. Wow. So I immediately became that sandwich kid because I had to not only juggle my family full time along with my dad, who was also aging.
Right.
So yeah, you got to kind of figure out, how do you balance your life, your kid's life, your spouse's life, and now your parents. So
Do you feel like, since you have been in that place for a long time, that you feel like it's second nature and you know what you're doing? Or do you notice still that you had younger kids when that happened and now you have older kids, but then it doesn't stop you or your dad from aging, right? Like life still happens.
yeah, I think it's definitely different now versus what it was then. You still have to try to find that balance of, okay, I know he needs things done, but he also he needs to understand that I'm still working full time and just can't call me in the middle of the day. Hey, did you know so and so? Yeah, Daddy, I'm on a meeting right now. I gotta call you back.
That's funny.
And the kids early on found out, I can't call you because you're not going to answer your phone. I got to call Dad. And I'm like,
Yes.
okay. So yeah, it's a little weird. But oh my gosh, 20 years of doing that, it's definitely a little more, I guess, just second nature now. My husband, who unfortunately is starting to finally be introduced to that as his parents are aging and he's becoming older. I'm just like, yeah, you just do this and that. He's like, well, you've been doing this for so long. I said, oh, well, yeah. I mean, it really is just second nature for me. Make sure, you take care of this, and this. And what do we do? Because we've also got an aging parent who is not in the city. So having to find that balance as well. It's like, we've got to really start thinking about how to do that balance once again. Before, it was between the younger kids and particularly my parent. Now we've got to think about both sides along with the kids. I know we previously discussed, where are you going to land? And you think you're going to land somewhere with your kids, but you've also now got to consider that aging parent.
Yeah.
So,
and each of us has a sibling. Have you all had conversations with your siblings about this sort of thing? Or have you taken on this parenting of both your older children and your parent? Or do you share that responsibility with your sibling?
So for me, I have two brothers. And again, I'm in the middle of the sandwich. But they still I'm still kind of like the lead kid, right? I'm the ones that gets the responsibility to make sure that everything is taken care of for my dad. But I know I can rely on them to be there if I need them. Just like last week, we were out on vacation. So I was like, look, you're going to have to step up. And sure enough, there was one day, by chance, I got a phone call on the boat. And I'm like, I can't hear you. So, texting the brothers, and they were taking care of everything. He's like, oh, he's got a question about this. He knows it'll wait until you come back. So,
Oh, gee, thanks.
well, it wasn't anything that they could control because I also control the finances. So,
wow.
Yeah. But I mean, in an instance, if I needed them both there, they definitely can be there. One is not as local as the other one is. So I do kind of rely more on the younger brother just because he's a little closer. But the older brother does commute in. So when he is in town, he will step up when he has to. So
at least you have their support. But it sounds like as well that your dad goes to you first.
Oh, for sure. And now those tables have also turned with the kids because they know, hey, if I need something, mainly it's going to cost something, I'm probably going to go to mom first. She's going to say yes. Even as our kids get older, you find it funny.
That's funny.
Whatever you need, yes.
Mine
we'll
goes
take
to
her.
his dad first.
Really?
Yes. Yes. He talks a big talk, but he's a big softie. Well, Sheila and I have of it similar but different. And we both have parents and family that live out of state, like out of state, 2-day car drive, 1-day plane ride out of state. I have a sister, and for most of my life, well, my parents are divorced. They've been divorced for a really long time. And for a good chunk of that, my mom and I lived in the same area. So things weren't a problem. And we were all much younger, so there was nothing to worry about. Now my mom is closer to my sister, but my dad is not. He's, in a totally different state. So we've got people in 3 different states. But I feel like I have hit my midlife, which means, my parents are 30 something years older than me. So they're, on the way downhill side of that. And I worry. My sister and I do talk, and we talk about the things that we talk about, and we're on the same page. It's also hard to say when something happens, if something happens, what that's really going to look like. But we watched my mom go through this with our grandparents. And so I definitely can verbally say, and in my head, I feel like I have some real expectation and boundaries, though, of what I don't want to support and how I want to support my parents and help them through this stage of life. But I don't know. It's one of those things that you can say, this is how we have it planned out and this is what it looks like, but we don't know what's going to happen.
Right. When that time comes.
Yeah. So I tend to be quite emotional, and I can get myself really worked up about things that don't matter. My parents have both made my sister and I different power of attorneys. So one of us is in charge of the finances, and one of us is a power of attorney for medical issues, which we're fine with. But both of our parents did it the same way. So they clearly know us very well. I am the medical side of it. And I will tell you that my parents have been driving me crazy lately because they don't have doctors, or they don't follow up, or they're like, oh, well, I don't know, my leg's swollen to 4 times its size right now, but it's not a big deal. Yes, it is. It's kind of a big deal.
A little bit of a big deal.
Oh, Dana, you worry too much. So I get that a lot. And it's hard when you're not around. So I have resorted to threats, which are, okay, well, I can come to you, and then we can go to the doctor together. How does that sound? And they're both like, okay, I'll make an appointment.
And do they?
One has, and I haven't checked in with the other one yet. But yes, it's sort of like having toddlers again.
It is.
Maybe like a 6-year-old, because you can still have a conversation with them, but you have to be very direct and make realistic threats. One of them, I said, okay, that's fine. Come to visit. I'm just going to make you an appointment with our doctor here. And then do you know what's going to happen? You're going to get stuck because they're going to run tests and you're going to have to follow up. And the next thing you know, you're going to be stuck here for 6 weeks. Yeah, that doesn't sound like a good idea. I'm like, I don't think so. So maybe I'm not the best daughter in the world. But
no, I think you're definitely caring, and you definitely want to have what's best for them. But again, my father is, I think, early stages of having dementia, because can't remember anything you tell him recently. Tell you anything from long term ago, but anything short term, can't tell you. Hey, we're doing this. Okay, well, call me to remind me. Okay.
Aww.
And it's the same conversation. Yeah. And we've known about this for years, but I have to take that initiative to, like, just today. I had to set up the doctor appointment. It's time for your yearly. We got to go in. What are we going in for? It's time for your yearly. If you want to continue your medication, we have to continue to go into the doctor every year. Okay. We get to the doctor. What are we here for?
Oh,
we're here to visit.
That's hard.
It is very hard.
Well, what
and
about you, Sheila? What's kind of your?
So it was probably about 21 years ago that my father passed away. And at the time, I was still in the same state that my family was in, but we were several hours away. And so it was my brother who was doing the heavy lifting and taking care of my dad and my mom. Of course, my mom was still working at the time. And neither one of us had said, hey, this is what you're going to do. You know, these are the responsibilities that you have, and these are the responsibilities that I have. I think it was only because he was in close proximity to them that he took the initiative and took care of my dad, right? And so since then, you know, he and my mom live in the same house, and anything that my mom may need, he is there for her. And, you know, he and I stay in touch. We communicate about what her needs might be. And the timing of this conversation is, it's just the timing of it is pretty right on, because I'm actually going to visit my mom in a couple of weeks because my brother is going to be away from the house. And so my mom had surgery a couple of months ago. And although she can move about the house, she can't stay at the house by herself. She's going to need somebody to be with her. And so my brother asked me to come out and stay with her for about 2 weeks. And I will. And I'm happy to do that. But this is just a reminder of how far away I am from her. I'm in another state. If something more serious happens, you know, I want to be there to support my brother, to be at my mom's side, but it certainly makes it a challenge to get up and to be with them.
Are you going alone? The girls?
It will be just me. Should she need somebody, there's you know, I'll be there. And I'm glad that my brother can call on me. I hope that he knows that that I'm always available for him. And I think as we get older and more mature, I'm glad that we can rely on one another and be a little bit more open to her needs.
It also makes me think of, you know, what are we doing right now in our life? You know, are we making sure that our children are set up, that we are set up to go what other path? You know, we all still work full time.
Right.
You know, I'm not close to retirement. I don't know about you two, but I'm gonna be working for a long time.
I've got another 30 years.
I do as well, but not by choice.
Exactly.
You know, kind of walking through that process with my parents, it makes me think I need to get my ducks in a row a little bit. But that's a hard conversation to have. I don't know about you guys, but my husband doesn't want to have the conversation. He doesn't like to have the conversation. You know, we can talk about it later. We don't need to worry about this right now. We have enough money. Well, it's not about that. It's just about making sure that things are, you know, financially aligned or set up in a way that should something happen to one of us, you know, the other person can step up and help. And then we all have adult children now. So, I mean, I don't think that my parents probably did a good job of telling them what was happening. We lived close to my grandparents. And so, and then my mom ended up living with them to help them as they went through dementia, first her dad and then my grandmother. And that was so convenient and a huge blessing, but they didn't really, you know, they were also very old school. Like, we're not going to go to a nursing home and rot and die and rent, you know, and that was just kind of their philosophy. And we have just access to other things now. We have home health and caregivers, but you know, things also cost money. So not only I feel like working with our parents to make sure they are set up financially. I mean, because one of my things are, it's like, I can't take care of you. If your plan was ever that you can rely on me, that's going to be really sad for you because you cannot. But then also it makes my husband and I think about, you know, how are we planning our money and what are we doing to make sure that, like I said, we're taken care of and that our children are taken care of way down the road. But yeah, it's heavy stuff, man.
It is heavy. It's a hard conversation. And years ago, my mom sat both my brother and I down and said, okay, well, here's all the paperwork in the event that I'm incapable of making decisions financially and for my medical care. And yeah, you don't want to talk about that kind of stuff, even as an adult with your parent. That's weird. It's awkward, but we still did it.
Mhm.
And yes, my husband and I as well have had those hard conversations about healthcare and plans for later in life when we're not capable of making those types of decisions. Have we
Mhm.
talked about it with our own children? Not necessarily.
Want to know what I did?
What?
After all of that happened with my mom, and my dad also did prepping for all of us as well, maybe the executor of the will, etc. So the boys know,
Yeah.
I'm the lead. I was going through a catalog one day and I saw this book and it says, "Now I'm dead, now what?" And I said, bought it. So I bought that book. And it pretty much just outlines everything for what you want as your wishes. I've had that conversation. And I think probably because I had to experience it at such a young age and having my dad prep us, I was like, I'm going to prep my kids.
Yes.
And I wanted to make it a little lighthearted for them. I said, here's the book, has everything that I want, how you bury me, what I look like, here are all my pictures.
Is that right? Wait, so was this recently?
It's been a while, but I do have the book.
But you did it.
I did it, and I think we've definitely learned from our parents and our grandparents because we were in the same boat. I mean, my grandparents didn't have anything planned.
They had a will. That's it.
They didn't even have that. I mean, there were 7 kids, and so somebody always just stepped up. There was always an aunt or an uncle nearby. My grandfather is still alive. He's 98. He is with my aunt, but they know what to do. But it was just because of previous experience. Unfortunately, my mom was the first, like what we call our big family, the first one to pass. And so everybody kind of learned from us. Like, what do we do? How do we go about doing this? Because nobody knew like what to do. So I think that prepped kind of everybody. And I've lost a few aunts and an uncle since then. So it's just been kind of an easier process, but you learn from that process. And I want my kids to be able to learn from that. But I also wanted to be like, I don't want to be, and nobody ever wants to be a burden and inconvenient. So I was like, I'm just going to prep. And I'm a planner anyways. So the minute I saw that book, I was like, I'm buying it. I'm dead. Now what? Well, here's your what.
That's really interesting. Sheila and I worked together, as we shared, and we had a coworker who lost her mom way too young as well. And through the course of working with her, she said, yeah, I mean, everybody's circumstance is different. And going through that process with her mom made her think, okay, I'm going to do the things that I can do today so that my children and my family, I mean, there's some things you don't know when it's going to happen or things like that. But what she could kind of lay out, what she could outline, what she could do, she did, because she just didn't want her family and her children to have to deal with that. So I think that's a really good point. I like to talk about it, but I haven't really put anything
nobody wants to
down on
talk about
paper
it,
yet,
but it
to
is
be
something that
honest.
should be talked about, especially if you have children who are very well capable of understanding. And again, I took the lighthearted approach just because I knew the sensitivity behind it. I was not prepared for that, at the age of whatever that was, 20 years ago.
You aren't. It doesn't happen.
And nobody
It
is.
doesn't.
Even and I remember, I mean, my oldest, she was 4 when that happened. And so she just couldn't quite understand. And I remember somebody bought her a book and they gave it to her and it was like, grandma's passed or something. Like you had to explain like what death meant to them at that age and what a funeral was.
And it means something really different. I mean, in my family, we all have different philosophical and religious, and we just have a lot of different opinions and beliefs. And so at the end of the day, I love my family and they love me. And I know that we would all do what we thought was best for the person. And, that intent is always there, but we do have some different philosophies and we probably make some different choices. And I think maybe it gives us a peace of mind if we can put that down and know that our loved ones are gonna follow that. But
For sure.
Yeah.
No. So back on topic, I think we've just all discovered, everybody is at one point in their life probably going to be somewhat of a sandwich person, whether it's, friends, family, those that you adopt as your quote unquote family. We all came from somebody, those are our parents. Sometimes we have people behind us, those are our kids, sometimes a spouse. So where do you find that nice little happy, healthy balance? You've got to stay sane yourself. And I think with all of us kind of being in that midlife kind of age bracket and having those tables turned on us, sometimes a little more than others, having that sanity to clear your head and you're like, okay, I can't do it all. And I think this is kind of where also friendships come into play, neighbors, you have a community, you have a village that kind of builds around you and they're there for you. I think is very, very helpful as well. You should not be able to handle something like this on your own. So just wanted to share. Pretty sure everybody else maybe thinking or feeling in the same boat with us. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's also it's been interesting. I feel like I talked to both of you about this, but this time last year we had just graduated our children from high school, the three of us, all in the same weekend, two from the same school.
Yes.
All we were talking about was getting them ready for August when they went to college. Like that, I have been reflecting on that a lot. Like, okay, here we go. This is, a bigger deal in high school. And it was so hard and stressful and emotional. But now they're back because it's summer. They finished, right? They finished their first year and now they're back. And it's just weird. I don't know about you guys, but when mine came home, every time he has come home, he's far enough away that he doesn't come home every weekend. But every time he came home, it was just exciting. We were like, you're home. And then, I don't know, about 12 to 18 hours in, he'd be like, oh, you guys are driving me crazy. I can't wait to go back to my dorm. It's the size of a closet. Okay. We haven't at that point yet. But like it was really different sending him off to college. He was so nervous. I mean, it was like physically, you could tell on his face when he comes back and he's like, I'm here. And he brings in all his junk and it's all over my guest bedroom. I have no room for anybody to walk. But they did it. And I'm super proud of all three of our children because they did it. But now they're home. And what does summer look like? And what is it going to look like when we send them off when they start again in the fall? It's like they're just here for this short time. But they're adults now because they've been at college. Like they've been on their own. They've had to make adult decisions and done all this stuff. But I mean, they're still our kids, right? Like
absolutely.
They're still our babies.
They will always be our kids, for sure.
Well, and that's a good transition into our next discussion. So until next time, ladies.
Yeah. Bye.
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 Later.
Dun, 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 dun.
Love it.
Okay, all clear.